Hey guys, I'm Anthony with Zodiac Nation Outdoors, and today I want to do a little video, the first video that I'm actually going to do for my channel. And the whole point and purpose of this is to kind of show you how you can set up an older bow that you might find in the attic or grandpa's old safe, or just lying around the barn somewhere that somebody hasn't used in ages. All right, so not everybody has the $2,000-$3,000 it's going to take you to go up to the pro shop and purchase and set up a brand spanking new 2023 flagship bow from any of the name brands. All right, although we all love to fantasize about doing it, we all love to do it. Today I'm going to show you how to set up this old 1983 high country trophy hunter bow and bring it just simply in today's modern world for maybe 50 to 100 bucks, depending on where you're shopping at and what kind of stuff you like. So we bought a package for it. It's my neighbor's bow, and we're going to strip down all the old school stuff, and we're going to get it set up today so that he can get out and shoot and potentially take him out and knock down a deer this season, or this coming season, 2023. So we're going to see what happens, and I'll go ahead and flip my camera around, show you the equipment that we got to work with, what he purchased, and we will get to moving. All right, so what we have here is a package that we just kind of sat down and we decided we wanted to bring this old school 80s bow into the modern world. So I had him go onto Amazon and just kind of browse around and see what he liked best. And so he's not like an avid pro archer. He's not in the scene super huge, and we wanted to make sure that we could bring this bow up without spending a crazy amount of money on it. And like I said before, we're not looking to set up a new flagship bow. We're not looking to set up and spend another $2,000 on everything. He just wants to take this old bow that's knocked down many deer and keep it up and running and bring it just into the modern era and make it his own personal thing. So this Trophy Ridge package right here is got your sight, it's got a whisker biscuit rest, your stabilizer that is much better than this old metal stabilizer that came on it, and a new wrist string. So we'll put this wrist sling on there, take this old leather strap that's, oh man, it's dry rotted, it's bad, it's obviously 40 years old, and it's showing its weathering times. So we're going to get this updated. We're going to set up his old aluminum arrows that he has with it. We're going to strip those old dry rotted vanes off. We're going to go with these new Pine Ridge Nitro vanes. Pine Ridge Archery makes some pretty decent vanes. I started shooting them on my setup this year, and they're a little bit stiffer than your competitors, like your leading your Blazer vanes and stuff like that. They're a little stiffer, but what I have personally noticed is that they correct a lot faster because of that fraction of a stiffness more. And on the impact downrange, they hit a little bit harder than the rest of them that slow down because of that flapping vane in the wind. They're slowing them down a little bit so they don't hit quite as hard. These Pine Ridge punch just a wee bit harder. Do your own testing, see if you like it. This is just my personal experience and my personal opinions. And then we're going to bring him also out of the that super fancy, let's see if I can get it, super fancy cloth string silencers, and we're gonna bring them into a modern world with some rubber dampeners on there. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna change the string on here. I'm gonna do it all without a bow press. It's just a teardrop string, shouldn't be too hard. We're gonna put these rubber dampers on. We're gonna put the new rubber damping stabilizer on, new sight, new rest, new vanes on the arrows, and we'll get them out there shooting. So as I said before, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get this string changed out. So like you can see right here, the string here is your traditional teardrop back from the original styles, when they converted it to your cable sets right here that just come around and they lock into the string. So this is all covered in a nice little rubber, so it typically doesn't have to be changed out over the course of the years because it's protected pretty decent. And then your string right here, it needs to be changed out a little bit. So one thing to know with these old bows, they don't really have a solid back wall stop on them. So you just have to kind of rely on making sure you're not overdrawing like crazy and that you stop when the bow feels like it's supposed to be stopping. The cam itself, the module, it's not a big stop on these. So you twist your string to get as much draw length out of it as you need to, understanding too that if you do find a way to purchase these strings, they, back in the day, they did not stretch these strings out. So traditionally, or not traditionally, but if you find one in today's modern market, it's probably not going to be stretched out unless you get it custom built. So you're going to be finding these old strings off of eBay and stuff that people just have kind of hanging around, and they've had them for years and years and years. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this out, and we're going to do it without a bow press, and I'm going to show you right there how to set this down, pull the string back a little bit, and swap it out. So as you'll notice, there are two sides to this teardrop system. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the string back, we're going to put the new one on this side, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side of the bow, then we're going to let it down a little bit, grab the new string, pull it, and we'll remove this one, and the same thing on the other side, and this bowstring will be changed. So here we go. Easy peasy, just like that. String changed. Do the same thing to just kind of get everything set in, and we'll rock and roll. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the peep in here, and we'll start working on the D-loop. I'm not gonna do that stuff on camera. Everybody should pretty much know how to do it, but at a later time I'll do another video on how to do a D-loop in case you need it. But that's a super heavily covered topic, so everybody kind of knows how to do that already. But just for the sake, I'll throw a video on later on how to exactly tie in your peep and your D-loop and all that good stuff. But we're gonna get this bow set up for today. Alright guys, so I ran into a small issue converting this bow into a modern bow. So these modern technologies, they don't always match up perfectly with something that's 40 years old. An 83 bow, it's 2023 now, the very beginning of it, but it's a 1983 bow. So it was made with 1983 products and maybe a 5-year buffer, maybe even 10-year buffer, that the products matched up pretty decent. But today's archery products, they're machined just a tiny bit different than what they used to do back in the day. So I've got the sight on, but I want to point out something. When I set the sight up on here, it was loose. The screws that set up on the back side didn't quite have enough thread in the actual riser itself to lock itself down, so I had to modify it just a bit. So what I did, I could go online and I could buy a rubber shim kit kind of thing, a spacer, in order to make those work. I could go find new bolts if I wanted to, or new screws, and to make it all work. But I actually decided that I was going to fix it myself without having to go anywhere with some of the stuff that I have on hand. So as you can see, there's these little foam dampers in there, right? So basically what I did was I took one of these, which is made for the retaining strips on my transcooler that I installed on my truck a few years ago. All they're designed to do is set between the plastic and the metal portion of the transcooler and the truck frame, or the radiator, so that it doesn't cause a ton of vibration and cause a ton of issues. So I took two of these, and people are gonna go nuts. People are going to go nuts in the comments about how this is not the right thing to do. It'll never last. It'll never this. It'll never that. And it may not be a permanent solution. Maybe we'll fix this later on in the year as we shoot, if we notice anything, any kind of a problem. But this is not the first time that I've used products like this to make things work. And I'm gonna tell you from experience what it does. No matter how many times people are gonna go nuts, no matter how many things that people say down here in the comments, this stuff works. It will hold the bow. It anchors it in right now. It's solid as a rock. It doesn't shake at all. There's no vibration in it. And it acts as an extra damper. So there's like zero gap. If you can see back here in the sight, there's like very little gap. It creates the space that it was needed in order for the sight to go onto the bow, and it's going to offer a little bit of vibration reduction just because of the fact that it's designed to offer vibration reduction. So if you don't have the money to go out and just spend a ton of money on stuff, remember, there's a way to take an old bow that you've had laying around or grandpa's had stored in the attic forever and turn it into a modern era bow with all the equipment that you want to use, and do it for less than $100. Just get the stuff you want. Don't worry about all the stuff that everybody says you need. Get the stuff that you want and find a way to make it work. Bow hunters and archery, it's all about getting out there and getting to hunt. So find a way to make things work for you, because so far this looks good. So far this is going to work. The string's changed out. I put a new peep in there. We got him into an upgraded peep. It's a smaller one than before. We got a 5-pin sight. We got the rubber stabilizer on there instead of that old junky metal one. And we're about to throw in a whisker biscuit. And as much as some people don't like that, I mean, I don't personally shoot with a whisker biscuit, but I know that there are tons of pros that do shoot with a whisker biscuit, and they shoot all the way out to 100 yards. So you could say it's inconsistent, you could say it'll cause inaccuracies, but this is a 1983 bow, and it's gonna work, and he's gonna be able to shoot, and he's gonna be able to take down deer. If the Indians could do it with a stick and a string and a bent up piece of a twig that they kind of straightened out with fire, then I'm pretty sure we can do it with a 1983 bow and 2023 accessories on it. So I'll get back with you in a minute and we'll show you the build. Alright, I'm back, and what we've just finished is to take this 40-year-old high country trophy hunter bow and update it and bring it into today's technology just a little bit. I mean, obviously I didn't fix the bow and make it all machined up and pretty and just like a Matthews or a Hoyt, but what I did do is accessorize it with modern technology. All right, we took this fantastic little shelf rest with the tension on it. We got rid of that. We took this super old fragile 3-pin sight. We got rid of that. We took this old counterweight to make sure that you could sink in the bottom of a pool just by holding it. Got rid of that. And we're going to go ahead and update him so that he's not got this monster hand immobilizer here to make sure that he can rock and roll and actually do his stuff. So we put him into a new fold back release. Nothing fancy, no back pressure, no thumb trigger or anything like that. Just a regular trigger release, but it is a fold back. So it will actually effectively, while it's in your hand right there, you can take it and flip it back on the buckle and it'll sit right up against your forearm, and that will make it a little bit easier. So we got him, like I said, in that package I showed you earlier, the new Trophy Ridge 5-pin sight. I got this paper tuned, and we're set up at 20 and 30 yards. We're going to see when he gets home if we can get the 40, 50, and 60 yard pins set up. If not, we'll back this down. We'll do 10, 20, 30, and 40, and 50. All right. On top of that, he's got the whisker biscuit. Like I said, a lot of people don't agree with it. A lot of people love it one way or another. I just know it shoots, so we're good to go. A newer aluminum, much lighter stabilizer with the rubber dampers in the front. Came from Trophy Ridge. And we went ahead and put the Pine Ridge wishbones on the string. One on top, one on bottom, just to give it a little bit of string dampening technology there. Get those old felt fluffy things out of there. And then this old steel peep, as you can tell, it sits straight up and down on the string. I didn't like how that when he would go to shoot, it would tilt and it would be all funny and you couldn't really see through it. So we put a new G5 in there, got rid of this fantastic metal D-loop knocking point, and put him an actual string D-loop on there. So it's ready to go. And then redid all of his veins, one green, two orange, and I used the nitro from Pine Ridge. My personal preference, just for the sheer fact that they do stiffen up the back end of your arrow just a wee bit, and it effectively helps to fix your arrow flight a lot faster. It also reduces the drag because they don't flop around in the wind like those blazers that are really soft do. And it also helps a little bit of kinetic energy downrange. I'm a believer of that because I've been blowing through my target a lot more frequently than I was with the blazers on there. So now that we're all done with that, we have effectively taken someone that has not touched a bow in about 20 years, modernized his a little bit, and made it to where he can now go out and comfortably shoot and just get back into the archery game. And for me, that's what it means. It means, to me, like the whole outdoor lifestyle, it means mentoring someone and helping someone and guiding them and getting them back into the archery scene and doing what you can do to bring someone new into it, bring someone that's older that hasn't been in it a while back into it, put them back into the outdoor scene, put them back into the archery world, and enhance this way of life and just show people and introduce them and bring this stuff back to society. I mean, we live in a day and age where it's just computers and technology and stuff like that, and people don't get up and get off the couch and go do stuff. So for me, it's a kind of a passion of mine, not only to get out and do it myself, but to help my neighbors out, to help my friends out, to make sure that they've got the stuff that they need to be able to do it. And then this year, you're going to see me help my daughter out. I'm going to build my daughter's bow, and I'll document every single piece of it along the way. We're going to do the peep side. I'll do a video for tying in her peep. We're going to set her bow up, sight, stabilizer, rest. I'll show you exactly how to torque every single bit of that in order to make it perfect. We're going to do the cam tuning if we need to do cam tuning so that we don't have to do so much rest and sight tuning. We're going to get everything set up. You'll see me fletch her arrows. You'll see me redo my arrows. I'm going to go with a new brand this year, and when I do that, I'll explain everything as to why I did it. I'll go into FOC and why I think it's kind of important. Installing wraps on your arrows if you choose to do so, or if you choose not to. It doesn't really matter what you want as long as you do what you want. It doesn't matter what everybody thinks about it. It doesn't matter if you do exactly what I did here and you take a 40-year-old bow out of the closet, out of the attic, out of the safe, and you modernize it, bring it back into today's society. Or if you're that kind of person that has $2,000 to go spend on a brand spanking new flagship bow, whatever you choose to do, feel good about it and get back in the game. So I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit of my bow tuning thoughts and opinions, and tune in, subscribe, man. I'm gonna put a link to some of the merch for my site down in the comment or the bio here, and if you want to help support the channel, absolutely hit it up, zodiacnationoutdoors.com, and get yourself a little piece. All right, you guys have a good day, and until next time, I'm signing off.